Welcome back to my channel where we talk about business, mindset, and lifestyle. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about something non-conventional, but then it's something that actually crossed my mind, but also it's triggered by the fact that I found so many audios, some of them like on a replay, and then you just get it like a third time and you're like, okay, there's actually a point there. And I'm going to talk about something called hell. I don't know what you guys think about what hell is about, but this is coming from a person who did I did what, 7 years of primary school in a boarding school, Catholic boarding school, and then I did 4 years in a Catholic boys' school for my O level as well. A level was kind of more liberal. I went to a school that actually was a bit liberal, so I didn't really infuse myself there. So in the 7 years, at least for primary school, for some reason there is a Bible that lurks around you in a Catholic school, and everybody at least at one moment decides to give a try to read that book from end to end. And I think I did actually like 4 times, at least on 4 counts. I basically read that Bible end to end. And part of the reason is we used to watch these movies that are based on Bible stories. I didn't like watching a movie and knowing the script and not knowing what's going to happen. I didn't like, so I had actually more thrill on how they were able to put these characters into life. It actually was more interesting that way for me. So that's why I read the book end to end. And shout out to my friends who've been in Catholic schools for like donkey years, 7 years plus. That's a feat. That's a feat. So we're going to talk about something called hell. All right. So what is hell really like? So I don't know. Everybody has their school of thought on what hell is about. We've been told that it's a place that is so hot and burning. And then if you've read the Bible till Revelation means you've done that book end to end. There's a couple of things about finality, literally. Very, very spooky things. It's actually, we used to read Revelation and get nightmares when we were kids. And it's one of those, I don't think I've read it in my adulthood afterwards. I really haven't. I think I have this spooky thing going on. But anyway, so what is hell about? So where I'm actually coming up with this is I have found a different view, and there's a quote that actually lingers around my head a lot, is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I'm going to give you a flip side to what hell looks like, but then it's not my idea originally. I just been bumping into it so many times, and I have like conviction on is that what really hell is about, and I think I'm actually sold on that idea, and I want to share that idea with you. So what is the idea really about? So idea of hell is, I've gotten it, this is my recent listen is this book. The audio book is amazing, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I think I've done the audio book like 6 times now. For some reason I keep coming back to this book. It's an amazing book. So there's there's 2 lines of thought for some things. There's people who are theorists, and there are people who are practitioners. And Goggins is a practitioner. So anything he talks about, he's actually gone through it. Not a guy who went to the library and read a couple of books, just like this guy over here, who's reading a couple of books to get lessons, and then you teach. And actually, he basically went through hard times and learned from the hard times. So he has a concept in part of the book on actually what is really hell. So I won't actually steal his thunder. I'm just going to play a clip that portrays what hell is about. So just give it a couple of minutes. It's actually an amazing clip.
People get it all wrong, man. You have to face suffering. You have to face this dark side, this darkness. And there's a lot of energy in there. There's a lot of goodness in there that you can use to find greatness. But you cannot find your peace you're looking for in yourself until you've overcome yourself. I think that when you die, this is just my own mindset, that you arrive in line. It helps me to get past a lot of things. You arrive in line, and let's say you're in front, let's say you die right before me, and you're in line, and God's sitting there with the clipboard, okay? Sitting there with the clipboard, like me and you're sitting right now. He's looking at you, and he says, hey, you made it to heaven, good job. Okay? And then he shows you the clipboard of what your life should have been. So you live this life that you thought you pushed so hard. Then you look at the clipboard. Let's say myself, this is now me, I'm talking about myself now. And let's say I got to heaven weighing 300 pounds. I was a guy that worked for Ecolab, which is a guy that kills cockroaches for a living, which is fine, it's a job. But then I look at this, and that's how I died. I look at this, and it says on here what I should have been, because God's all-knowing, right? I look at this, and it said you should have been 185 pounds, you should have broke Guinness Book of World Records, you should have been a Navy SEAL, you should have been this, you should have been that, you should have lived this great life, you should have been an inspiration, you should have inspired millions. And then you give the clipboard back to God. Let's say you lived 80 years on earth, and now you realize that you lived here being a shell of who the fuck you should have been. So now you're in heaven. But are you really in heaven? Because now you see how much you fucking left down there on earth. The root cause of the quitter isn't that you can't do 100 fucking push-ups. You can train anybody to do that. The root cause of the quitter is when you get in hell, you can't process it. It's too much to process. Because your mind starts going back to the real reality of like, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough. It's not trained. So I started training this, realizing that the only thing that makes me quit is not the muscle fatigue, it's the mental fatigue that makes me quit everything in life. So I became a practitioner of the mind. The mind's a very powerful thing. It has a tactical advantage over you all the time. It knows your fears, right. It knows your insecurities, it knows where you don't want to go. So it will guide you away from that. And that's why the mind will always win until you reprogram it. It will always win until you fucking reprogram it. Because the mind controls you. Why is that? It's your fucking mind. It's your mind. Because all those things that happen to you in your life, all those bad things, all those things that you blame other people for, they're now yours to own. You got to figure out a way to reprogram your mind to get outside the box.
Now that was something. Whoa. Anyway, book recommend Can't Hurt Me. I think this has been one of my best purchases. The audio is actually like a podcast stroke audio book stroke commentary. So it's a mix of things. But anyway, back to the point. What is heaven and what is hell anyway? So the whole thing is, at least we have in this one, we see a different description of actually what hell looks like. So there's this whole thing we call potential, and then I last saw it in school. What is potential energy? Anyway, but then the whole thing is, it actually scares me as well. Now this is a scary hell. What if you get to wherever you're supposed to go and the picture that's drawn for you is someone you actually don't understand, and you didn't do the strides to put the work in to become that other version? And then I think all of us know that if you push yourself to do certain things, we're all networked in a way. There is no way we do things that are positive in this world that don't affect people. And the choice not to actually go for some things denies the world of your contribution. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm getting philosophical, but anyway, it's actually very scary. And I hope you got some value from this one. What does hell really mean? Is it? There's a quote that I was looking at, one of those Les Brown talks, where he talked about unfulfilled potential, and it's like the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because in the graveyard is where you find people who lived with fear and didn't actually go out there to face their demons and achieve more. So it's all the ideas that we die with and don't push on through to actually live through and see them through as well. And it basically goes to the whole thing is life is suffering, and I don't think people who push that happiness agenda, I have issues with it as well now. Life is suffering, and it's the people who pick up that load, push through with the load, help a couple of people. Happiness is just moments. It's just moments that are spread around of you smiling and happy. Otherwise, the majority of life is you trading through the pains of getting to your destination. Happiness is the breaks you take. So anyway, I don't know if you agree with that philosophy, but that's how I look at it right now. And I hope you got some value from this. Share with a friend if you want to share what hell is about. I think it's a good view on it. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, share with a friend, and if you got some value, look out for the video. And the next video, just put the bell icon on, and I will be seeing you in the next one. Adios.